Welcome to the Light Cellar podcast, brought to you by Light Cellar, a place where you can learn to find and craft your own food and medicine. In this interview series, you will meet a range of characters in the health and wellness space that are bringing light to your everyday. You'll hear from a number of different experts on a wide variety of topics. We have several different series within the podcast, including our Wild Wisdom and Storytelling with Blaine Andrusic, the Rays of Light, inspiring wellness in the community, plus solo casts, Q&As, and other topics for you to enjoy. You can find this as a video version, as well as the audio on any of your favorite platforms. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with somebody you know who will benefit. You can also shop online at lightcellar.ca. All right, hello, welcome. I have a very special guest with me. This is Nigel O'Quinn of Higher Healths. You might recognize that branding right there. This is the man behind the company. Yes, the inspiration. So wanted to bring Nigel on and just have a little chat, listen to his story, and talk about some benefits of organ meats. And let me just say right off the top, I know you're right here with me, but the fact that, animal foods, organs especially, tallow, we were talking about that down in the shop, how that's just coming out. That's a full-on trend now in that sense. People are realizing the value of animal foods, how incredibly important they are, despite all the noise. Because maybe you have a similar story to me. I was a vegetarian for a long time. I went down all that whole path, and there's still a ton of noise about that. And a lot of people can get caught up in it, but it's only a matter of time, honestly. Until somebody has to shift.
Right.
That was the case with me.
Absolutely.
What was your story? Would you have a similar path?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I like to use the word indoctrinated because I went to school. I wasn't educated. I was indoctrinated. Saturated fat was the enemy.
Yes.
Meat, sure. Eat that sparingly kind of thing. And vegetables were, the thing to worship, right?
Yeah.
That's where health came from.
Right.
And so
true.
I was in school and I was getting indoctrinated in that. And I say that, and I'm serious, because when I was in school, my health started to decline.
Right.
Now, I didn't go full vegetarian or anything like that, but I adopted a lot more, of the vegetables, the starch, the grains in the diet.
Right.
And it resulted in the worst health that I've ever had. I had gut issues that came about, and I had daily discomfort with it.
Wow.
To the point where it's okay, this is no way to live. It was very uncomfortable. So I got out of school, and that lasted for, another year and a half, where I made the decision to start asking questions about what I learned and what I'm putting in my body. Right.
So what were you studying? What were you going to school for?
Yeah, so it was actually kinesiology with a health and nutrition major in there. So I've always loved nutrition, wanted to know, how does our body operate?
Yeah.
How can it operate optimally, especially from an athletic standpoint, always interested in sports and movement. So that's where the kinesiology comes in as well.
Right.
But that's what I wanted to know. It's how do we run? What's our fuel?
Yeah.
And so, and like so many people, it takes that breakdown before you ask those critical questions of, okay, what's going on here and what do I need to change?
Yeah.
So
I'm curious, did you ever study, here's a program, designed, get into human health, nutrition, that type of thing. Did you ever study indigenous peoples and what they ate?
Not
part of the curriculum.
Yeah, no,
Isn't
absolutely
that
not.
shocking? Right?
Yeah, it really is. How did our ancestors have health?
Right.
What did they consume? And it was a book by Dr. Kate Shanahan, Deep Nutrition.
I know the one, for sure.
Amazing. It's an amazing book, and it rocked my world. It pulled me out of my belief or the ideology that I'd been sold. And I'm like, whoa, so wait, eating meat from the bone is something that we should do as human beings. Yeah. Oh, it's something our ancestors would have done? Of course it is.
Right.
Oh, they didn't waste any parts of the animal? That kind of makes sense. Whoa.
and it's so funny in the context of, a lot of people, and I put myself in this camp, for the longest time, like, oh, Whole Foods, da-da-da-da-da, it's oh, wait a minute, Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
The whole animal.
Yeah, right? So, and it was hunting. I was hunting, and I ended up harvesting the organ meats from the animal, and after the book Deep Nutrition, right? And I ate them, and Malcolm, I came alive.
Oh, totally. I know it. I have same experience. I was hardcore vegetarian, vegan, raw vegan, tried all these different things.
Right.
And you get some benefits like initially along the way. But then I just kept trying to go deeper and deeper because it was working less and less.
Yeah.
But one of the first things I ate after more than a decade was raw bison liver and high for 2 weeks.
High. That's a good, holy, electrified, right? Yeah, so.
And that's what I find about these, folks, like liver's kind of the gateway organ.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we were just chatting with Angela downstairs, and she was sharing that story about someone she knows in Edmonton with their daughter with anemia. Unfortunately, for a lot of women, if they're not properly nourishing in a way, because they're losing blood every month, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And especially for younger women that can be caught in that kind of ideology as well. But the turnaround is amazing. So that's the good news. Because our bodies are so incredibly resilient, and feed it the right nutrition. I know a lot of people, I know on the bottle it says, take 6 per day. And people are like, whoa. And I'm like, hey, just start with 3. If that's overwhelming,
absolutely.
And they feel it.
Yeah,
they feel it.
And those with any gastrointestinal issues, ease into it. 1. It can be 1 every other day.
Right.
There's a lot of nutrition in there, and you're right. Like 6 capsules is a recommended dosage, but is not a one-size-fits-all. And I don't think that there's any single nutrition plan that ever is. And if anybody tells you, no, there's a one method that fits everybody, is like a dogmatic snake oil salesman kind of thing. Like, you have to listen to your body.
Totally.
And that dosage, and we've had a lot of folks come over from other brands even.
Right.
And other brands, not all of them, of course, but some have fillers in there, flow agents, brown rice powders, or whatever it is that's in there.
Yeah.
And so they go from that 6 over to ours, and 3 actually does the trick,
Right.
So it's fantastic. But you said resiliency, and it's amazing. The body's a miracle, isn't it? Like how long we can mistreat it, and it still operates to some degree.
Yeah.
And that's what we're noticing with our food when people put it in. I think it's shocking to a lot of folks. We just don't realize how nutrient deficient our diets are, and our food supply is.
Yeah.
And we're in a situation now where supplementation is pretty much necessary for 99% of folks, because unless you're raising your own animals, eating whole animal, even the vegetables, the fruits, and all this stuff that you're harvesting, that you're growing, who's doing that? There's a very small percentage that are doing that. So we're gaining our vegetables, our meats from suboptimal sources, coming from suboptimal soils that are not providing the vitamin and mineral content that we need to be operating on an optimal level. Yeah. And so, they throw in beef organs, liver, that gateway drug, absolutely. Yeah. And, the body starts to fire on all cylinders because it's finally given the building blocks necessary to operate. So
another book actually that comes to mind that's hopeful in that same direction is the Pottinger's Cats experiment.
I've heard it. I haven't read it, but I've heard.
Basically, like they see it generation after generation, kind of like in our human society where things start cropping up earlier and earlier because of a deficient diet. But the good news is, as soon as you turn that around, it's like boom.
That's right.
You're back.
Yeah.
In that sense. So
it's amazing. Our genetic bank only has so much withdrawal, and we can start to put back in, and it's so important for those future generations. Yeah. Which is why you have to feed the body properly, especially if you're procreating, and give something to that next generation. So
and what I love about it as well is like it balances out. Eventually, we'll get there. Like I remember, it wasn't too long ago. Like bones were a waste product. product, before
Right.
bone broth became something, right? Okay, now there's a market for them. We're not just like throwing them away or discarding them in some other product, bone meal, that type of thing. So the whole animal is getting used, is getting honored. Same with the organs. I mean, it's probably going to happen some point soon where people are going to realize that's a premier product, to have heart, to have liver, and they won't be so easy or accessible for people to get because more and more will need and want them. Yeah,
more and more demand for nutrition is going to be there. And there's definitely a shift going on. We're seeing it, but that ideology that's been ingrained in us that, we go to the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
And we get a box of chicken breast.
Right.
And we don't ask any questions. Well, the rest of the chicken had no value in it.
Yeah.
That the cow, aside from my ribeye, had no value, or some ground beef had no value in it. And we're starting to get back to this whole picture here. And waste not, want not. We're going to have nutrition again. Yeah.
Well, let's maybe get into some of those aspects. So, in terms of the value, right, I've heard that the organ meats help balance out the muscle meat, and that's part of it, like the nutrient density. It's so packed in there that when you do consume a whole cow, you've now balanced out the nutrients.
Absolutely, yeah. And, we're seeing a large amount of customers come over from the carnivore diet.
Right.
Which it's fantastic. But again, it goes, some people do amazing on carnivore.
Yeah.
But is it a one size fits all that you can do carnivore without whole animal, without the organ meats?
Yeah.
And we're running into issues, people with deficiencies going on. And so, the organ meats absolutely complement that. They have a whole list of vitamin and minerals in different levels that's found in the muscle meat that provide us nutrition.
Yeah, and a lot of it is this kind of, doctrine of signatures, feed right in that sense.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit more about that. What are you getting from heart? What are you getting from liver, kidneys, those types of things that it does nourish directly those organs as well as your whole body? Yeah,
it's so fascinating. The heart is very dependent on B vitamins, on CoQ10. And what does beef heart have? It's some of the most nutrient-dense vitamin Bs available.
Right.
It is the most abundant in CoQ10. Right? Because what does the heart need to do? It's got a lot of muscular functions that's happening every single second, and it demands that nutrition to operate. Those metabolic processes do not happen by accident.
Right.
So what does the heart have? Well, it's got a whole host of those vitamins and minerals that help assist with those movements. Kidney is so vital for our immune function, urinary tract support, and what's the breakdown of a beef kidney? Well, the exact nutritional needs that your kidneys need to operate optimally, right? It provides that nutritional support for the urinary tract. It provides the most abundant out of any other food, DAO, diamine oxidase, which is essential for histamine metabolism. So that's how we get our immune system function optimally running, right? So
amazing.
They have the like treats like is something that should never be dismissed. It's very it's been put into nature on purpose. So
totally, and it's so basic. You and I both studied nutrition, but I don't call myself a nutritionist because I don't want that title. I don't want it to be seen that you need a degree to figure this out. Like cures like is such a basic human principle, universal, that people can you don't need a degree to have that. That's how human nutrition should be. We should all have that kind of wherewithal to figure it out.
Absolutely, yeah. And everybody's so different. Which. Everybody should appreciate that about life, is that we're not all the same human beings. And so while somebody might operate better on more meat or more vegetables, the other individual might operate better, slightly different variants or whatever it is. But ultimately, that whole animal encourages all those different variabilities that can happen and that are available in our life, right? So it's really important. It's very difficult to mimic how things operate in nature. We were just talking with Alex, your chef there. It's I think it's a really rough idea to try to say I'm as smart, if not smarter than nature, that's had this figured out for however many thousands of years.
Right.
And it's all there, It's the breakdown is there in nutrition? And so that one size fits all ideology is really rough, and it's good to get away from that.
Yeah. Okay, so here's something for you. Most people have a challenge with the flavor.
Yes.
Because one part of nutrition, like in that, like Coors Light, those kind of like basic principles, is like you should be drawn to what is good for you.
Right.
Most people are repulsed by organs. I'm not even sure what my question is or what the answer is, but like, what's going on there? Like,
totally, yeah. Well, number one, that's why I'm in business. I was just telling you and Alex, like, I can't even cook organ meats in peace and quiet in my home anymore because the smell,
Yeah.
So the smell, the taste, the texture, all of that stuff was a failure for my wife, right?
Yeah.
But and this, I know this sounds super weird for so many people, but this was a non-negotiable. My wife was eating organ meats whether she liked it or not as we were preparing to get ready to have a family. I was like, you're about to embark on the most difficult human endeavor here.
Yeah.
Let's get you properly prepared. Not only you, but baby as well. Let's give you the best foot possible, right? So,
and coming back to like traditional wisdom, every single culture around the world had a diet specially for those people at that time of life.
Yes, right? You want to preserve the most nutrient dense foods for the most demanding times, right?
Yeah.
And so there was no way, and I tried all the different methods to cook it and serve it up to her.
You know the recipe for kidneys, right?
I don't know.
You just boil the piss out of it.
Beautiful. So I tried to overboil it. Some still smells this strong, So and back to our palates, the smell, taste, texture. We're also turned off by this. Well, look at the food supply. Yeah. Look at the additives. Look at the preservatives. Look at the colorants. Like these artificial flavorings.
We don't have a natural reference point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is gone. It's been destroyed, and it takes a while to come back. And a lot of folks don't have a whole lot of patience for that to come back. But our palates have completely changed.
Yeah.
And so bring something back, like a liver in.
Yeah.
Excuse me, no way. Our palates are like, forget that, right? And so, it's that's where we're at as a society now. Is we're turning our nose up at these foods. Erased it from the food guide. Back in the 50s, 60s, it's gone. It's no longer a favorable food because of the flavor profile that people don't want. McDonald's rolled into town. That's what happened, and organ meats moved out. So
no, it's so unfortunate, but one can reclaim that palate for it. It is, they are an acquired taste, but they're worth it.
Absolutely.
And I know for me, when I was like, getting back into it, 30-day challenge, and it's like every day I'm going to have some. I remember the first day my wife was looking at me, she's like, "You're not enjoying that, are you?" I'm like, "No, but I'm going to do it." And it was
sucker for punishment.
It was a matter of developing the skills to know how to properly prepare it.
Yes.
And then just like adjusting my palate, and then slowly moving it in, right? Starting with capsules, getting the benefits. Okay, I know this is something I want to do and commit to, and then trying to get it in as food. And I love the idea. Alex was just mentioning about like, hey, you can throw those capsules like into a smoothie.
Absolutely, yeah. And kids are so easy because they don't know, and we haven't blasted their taste buds yet. If some of us haven't anyway, right? And I open them up in my daughter's yogurt, and that's her bedtime snacky, she calls it, and I open up one liver, one heart, and one kidney. It gets in there, and she loves it with some blueberries, and we're good to go, right? Yeah. But it's taking steps. It's like steak, Some folks cook it to death, right? And then it's taking steps to going more rare, and then some people just need barbecue sauce with it, and it's like, okay, now we can taper that down, and we can just have a piece of meat with maybe a little bit of sea salt and keep it clean, and our taste buds will come around. They can come back to life and taste what real food. It's like going to the grocery store with the nutrient depleted vegetable, and then you go to somebody's garden.
Right, that's it.
And you're like, whoa, this carrot tastes totally different.
Yeah.
It sure does. and it's actually made different.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming by. And this is something that we've been carrying here at the shop for a couple of years now. And yeah, absolutely amazing. If somebody is new to this, maybe this is a bad question because there is no one size that fits all. But maybe just kind of the quick, kind of highlights, somebody's new to the product, or maybe they've just tried liver, where do they start, or, why might they choose one over another?
Yeah, for sure. Great question. So yeah, liver is that gateway drug. The reason why is it is the largest organ in the animal. It also happens to be the most nutrient dense.
Yeah.
So full spectrum, would have been shared the most among the tribe members.
Right.
Heart is very unique. This is something we do a liver heart kind of stack for athletes like crazy. It's also very pro fertility. So anybody that's looking to get pregnant is also a really good one. It's great for hormone production, those two.
Yeah.
Phenomenal build. And ours is undefatted, so it comes with the saturated fat, right?
Nice.
So it's those fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, K, you're looked after. All those cofactors are in there. So it's phenomenal. So do that. Any heart issues, any predisposition within your family that you're aware of in heart issues, eat heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely, get it into your diet. It is the warrior's organ.
Right.
It was gifted to the individual that made that kill shot. That's yours, and it's again great for pro hormones. So that testosterone, which is something that is under attack with our current food supply as well. So men and women are operating daily with lower amounts of testosterone than they should, which is the ultimate feel-good hormone, right? So get lots of it. Give your body the ability to make its own properly, right?
Yeah.
Kidney, get that in for anybody that suffers from any allergies.
Right.
You need some immune support going on there. Absolutely, make sure that kidneys in your cupboards and in your diet. Phenomenal. Urinary tract support, again, that's a big one. And kidney is right behind liver in terms of nutrient density. It's a phenomenal organ to get into the diet from a nutritional standpoint. And then spleen is one, and especially when we get into the anemic or low iron crowd, that is a home run. So it's in our beef organs. It's in there, 10% of it is in there. So that ramps up the heme iron levels in our beef organs to 5.5. Our beef liver sits at 2.2 milligrams per serving of 6 capsules of heme iron. That's enough to get people off of a 150 milligram synthetic capsule.
Jeez, amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it comes with the other vitamins and minerals, cofactors, enzymes that food is supposed to.
Yeah.
Right? They operate together. So the absorption is there, and it's heme iron, so the body doesn't have any work, no conversion stuff to deal with. So it's all there. So, and then the other thing that spleen is really important for, again, is that those red and white blood cells. So again, immune support, get it in there. So yeah.
Cool. Any plans to expand your line? I've seen things like testicles out there. And,
yeah. So great question. We are dead set. We will only support regenerative farmers out of Canada.
Amazing.
For our product. And just for those that aren't aware, we've opened up in the US. And over there, we'll only support regenerative farmers doing grass-fed, grass-finished programs out of the US. Right now we're established in Montana. But back to Canada, we'll only support regenerative farmers, grass-fed, grass-finished programs that do that work. The
testicles are hard to get.
The challenge is access. And so, but you know what? It's a fight worth fighting.
Yeah.
To support the farmers that are doing this work, we need to stand by them and support our local farmers to do that. So that's why we'll never source overseas. I could get access to it right now, but it'll come overseas. I won't know the third-party manufacturer. I won't have toured that. I definitely won't get to know the farmer, so I don't know the philosophy of farming and how it's operated and does it check all of our boxes. So the idea that I can't actually go vet them, meet them, share a steak with them, walk the land like I do at Gemstone, and hang out with the animals and all that stuff, just is not for me. It's not for my brand. I want people to be connected to their food, connected to the farmer, be able to have that relationship there. So with that being said, it makes it really hard to get access to some of these organs because of just laws and regulations put in place with our slaughter facilities. So that's the fight that we're up against. We're a whole animal company. We want to be as whole animal as possible. So we're fighting to get access to these. So yes, we hope to have a few more products coming down the pipe here in the future. So
yeah, well, you got a great foundation. Really appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you, Malcolm. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, right on. Well, thanks everybody for watching. If you want to give Nigel a follow, Higher Healths.
Higher Healths Canada.
Okay.
And then the States is Higher Healths USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you find us.
Okay, right on. And I'll post some links and everything down below as well. So, right on. Thanks for tuning in. Give it a like and share out with those that you know would love to see this. Okay, bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to give us a like, share this with someone you know who would benefit, and subscribe so you're up to date with all the new episodes coming out. You can shop online at lightcellar.ca as well as visit us in the heart of Bowness in Calgary, Alberta.